It is late, and you are still awake, not because you chose to be, but because something in you will not settle, something that has no name, or maybe has too many names, is sitting with you in this room tonight. You can feel the quiet differently at this hour, the way it presses in, the way an empty house sounds louder than it should. A stillness that instead of resting you, somehow reminds you there is no one here. Maybe you scrolled through your phone and saw that everyone else seemed to be somewhere, held by someone, part of something, and then you put the phone down and the room was exactly as it was before. Quiet, still, and you still in it, alone. That feeling is real. You do not have to explain it or shrink it or tell yourself you should not feel it. Loneliness at 2 a.m. is not weakness. It is not a failure of faith. It is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is simply what tonight feels like, and you are allowed to feel it. There is a kind of loneliness that is harder to talk about. Not the loneliness of being new somewhere or going through a season of change. This kind is quieter than that. It is the ache of wondering if anyone would notice. If the light in your window went dark tonight, if you did not answer tomorrow, if the sound of you just stopped, would anyone feel it? That question does not need an answer right now. You do not need to solve it or argue with it. Just let it be here. Let it be honest. Because something remarkable is true about this moment. And it is not a platitude. And it is not a distraction from what you are feeling. There is someone already in this room with you. Not waiting to be called. Not on the other side of a prayer you have to get exactly right. Already here, present. The way Psalm 139 says it, not as a distant warmth, but as a presence so close, there is nowhere you could go to leave it behind. If you went up, He is there. If you went down into the deepest dark, He is there. If you made your bed in this quiet, hollow room at midnight, He is already there. So just breathe. Let your body be heavy. Let this night hold you instead of haunt you. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. And the darkness around you right now, the very darkness that feels like proof of your aloneness, is not dark to Him. If something in this time together has met you where you are tonight, we would love to walk with you further. This channel, 40 days, exists for exactly this hour, the 2 a.m. hour, the quiet house, the weight you are carrying into sleep. If you would like more nights like this one, a simple subscription means the next meditation will be waiting for you. No searching, no scrolling, just rest, and the next one will find you. We are glad you are here, and so is He, who, as Psalm 73 reminds us, has been holding your hand this whole time, even when you did not know it. So let's rest there for a moment. That phrase, even the darkness is not dark to Him, it sounds beautiful when you read it in the morning in the light with a cup of something warm in your hands. But you are not reading this in the morning. You are here now in the dark, and the dark feels very real tonight. The room is quiet in a way that has weight to it. Not peaceful quiet, the other kind. The kind where you notice the absence of sound, because you notice the absence of someone. Where the stillness doesn't rest you, it reminds you. Maybe it's the other side of the bed. Maybe it's the next room that no longer has anyone in it. Maybe it's just the shape of your evening. No one called, no one texted. No one knew today was harder than you let on. And the night has a way of making that feel permanent. 3 in the morning has a way of convincing you that this is just how it is now, and no one is coming, and nothing will be different. Here is the question I want to sit with you inside of. What if the darkness you are sitting in right now is not hidden from anyone, but is in fact the very place where God sees you most clearly? That is not a poetic idea. That is what the psalm is actually saying. Psalm 139 verse 12. Even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light to you. Read that slowly. Not the darkness will eventually go away. Not one day there will be light again. But this, the darkness is as light to him. Right now, this room, this hour, this silence, none of it reduces his ability to see you. We assume that darkness hides things. That's what darkness does for us. It conceals, it obscures, it makes things harder to find. So somewhere deep in the body, when we are alone in a dark room at midnight, something concludes, I am harder to find right now. I am less visible, less noticed. But that conclusion applies to human eyes, not to his. For him, there is no difference between noon and midnight. There is no angle from which you become invisible. There is no hour so small, no room so quiet, no ache so private, that he has to lean in to notice it. He already sees. He already knows the particular shape of what you are carrying tonight. And here is the irony, the beautiful, almost unbearable irony of being alone in a dark room. The very conditions that make you feel most hidden are the conditions under which you are most fully seen by the one whose seeing actually matters. The darkness is not your enemy tonight. It is simply the room in which he is already sitting with you. Deuteronomy 31 verse 6 says it plainly. He will not leave you or forsake you. 2 negatives. Not he will try to stay near. Not he will come if you call loud enough. He will not leave. He will not forsake. That means his presence here is not waiting on your awareness of it. It is not contingent on your feeling it. It is not switched on by the right prayer or the right words. He is already here, in this room, in this dark, in this silence that aches. You do not need to call him in. You only need to let yourself believe he has not left. And that small shift from where is he to he has not moved, that is the beginning of rest. Not the rest of having answers, not the rest of the loneliness being resolved, but the rest of a soul that stops running toward a door to find someone and realizes that someone is already in the room. You are seen tonight, not despite the darkness, but within it, fully and without interruption. And as we move into the next part of this time together, we are going to let that truth travel all the way down, past the mind that keeps rehearsing, past the chest that still feels tight. And we are going to ask, what does it feel like to be held by a presence you cannot see, but that has never once looked away from you? His hand has not moved, and neither have you. And that is exactly where we begin. There is a thought that visits people in the dark, not always in words. Sometimes it is just a feeling that settles in the chest, quiet and heavy, like a stone placed there while you are not paying attention. The thought is this: if you were to disappear tonight, if the lights in this room simply went out and no one came, how long before anyone noticed? You do not have to say it out loud for it to be real. It is real, and God is not afraid of it. But here is something worth sitting with slowly. The same question that feels like evidence of your invisibility is actually evidence of something else entirely, because you are asking it, and something in you is listening for an answer. Which means, even now, even here, there is a part of you that has not stopped believing that an answer is possible, that someone could see, that someone might be near. Hold that small, stubborn ember. We are going to let Scripture breathe on it. The writer of Psalm 34, verse 18, does not say God is near to the ones who have it together. He does not say God draws close to the spiritually strong, the ones with full calendars and people who check on them. He says, God is near to the brokenhearted, near to those crushed in spirit. Not eventually near, not near once they find the right words to pray. Near, present tense, already arrived. Which means the brokenness is not what keeps him away. The brokenness is precisely what draws him in. And Matthew 28, verse 20, Jesus does not say, "Call on me and I will come." He says, "I am with you, always, to the very end of the age." Not a promise about the future, a declaration about right now. The word is present tense, continuous, unbroken, already on the way. He's not waiting to be invited into this room. He does not need directions to find you. He is not standing at a distance, hoping you will remember to ask. He is already here, in this room, in this quiet, in the specific particular ache of this night. Not a general comfort sent from somewhere far away, but a presence that has already filled every corner of the space you are lying in. You cannot outrun a presence that fills everything. You cannot be hidden in a room he already inhabits. You cannot be forgotten by the one whose awareness of you has no beginning and no end. The loneliness speaks loudly. But loneliness is not the same as being alone. The feeling is real. The conclusion it draws is not. There is a moment in the Gospels, we will walk there gently in a little while, where Jesus sees someone before she speaks, before she asks, before she even looks up. And what he does next is not what you might expect. But before we get there, let the silence come. In just a moment, the words will step back, and the music will hold you in a space where words are not needed. You do not have to do anything with what you have heard. You do not have to feel different than you feel. Just rest here, in a presence that was already filling this room before you closed your eyes. And know that the one who sees everything is still watching over you now. She was walking toward a grave. Not metaphorically, not as a figure of speech. She was a widow in a town called Nain, and she was following the body of her only son through the gate of the city, the last person she had left in the world,
toward the earth that would swallow him. She had not prayed. She had not cried out. She had not sent word ahead to ask for help. She was simply walking, carrying something no one could carry for her, in the particular silence of grief that comes when there are no more words. Only movement, only one foot, and then the other. And Jesus saw her. Not after she called to him, not after a disciple pointed her out, not after someone explained her situation or made a case for why she deserved his attention. He saw her before she spoke, before she asked, before she even looked up. The Gospel of Luke says he saw her and had compassion on her and spoke. In that order: seeing first, feeling first, moving first. She did not summon him. He was simply already there, already looking, already moved. And here is the question I want to leave with you in this quiet room tonight. What if that is exactly what is happening right now? You did not press play on something like this because everything is fine. You pressed play because the room is too quiet, and the quiet has a shape to it. The shape of someone who is not there, or the shape of a life that does not look the way you thought it would by now. You may not have prayed tonight. You may not have had the words. You may have simply been walking 1 hour and then the next, lying in the dark, carrying something no one else can see, wondering if anyone would notice if you simply disappeared into the silence. The irony, the tender, devastating irony is this: the moment you feel most invisible is not the moment he looks away. It is the moment described in this story. It is the widow on the road. It is the person who has stopped asking because they are not sure anyone is listening, and who is seen fully and completely before a single word leaves their mouth. He does not wait for you to compose yourself. He does not wait for you to find the right words or to explain why tonight is harder than last night, or to justify why you still feel this way after all the time that has passed. He sees the tear that did not fall in front of anyone today. He sees the moment earlier, perhaps in a grocery store, or on a phone call, or sitting in a car in a parking lot, when you held it together because you had to, and no one knew how close you were to breaking. He saw that. He sees this, the stillness of this room, the particular weight of this hour, the specific shape of what you are carrying tonight that you have not been able to name to anyone. You do not need to name it to him. He already knows it. He already sees it. He was already moved by it. The same compassion that turned him toward the widow before she spoke is the same compassion that is turned toward you right now, in this room, in this hour. You are not invisible to the one who matters most. You are in fact seen more fully and more gently than anyone on earth has ever seen you, by the God who designed human eyes, and yet needs none of them to find you in the dark. But loneliness rarely tells you that. Loneliness tells a different story, a very convincing one, about what your empty room means and what the silence means and what it says about you that no one is here. And that story is a lie. Not a small exaggeration, not a partial truth. A lie because it places you outside the reach of the gaze that never closes, and asks you to believe you're somewhere he cannot see when there is no such place. You are seen tonight. You have always been seen, and the one who sees you saw the widow before she spoke and did not wait for her to ask.
Loneliness has a voice, and you have heard it tonight, maybe more than once, whispering the same sentence it always whispers, that no one would notice, that the room you are lying in could stay dark and quiet until morning, and the world would continue turning without any awareness that you were awake inside it. That is what loneliness says, quietly, convincingly, in the voice that sounds almost like your own. But here is what loneliness always gets wrong. It misidentifies the silence. It looks at the stillness of this room, no voice answering, no hand reaching, no one turning over beside you. And it calls that silence evidence, evidence that you are forgotten, evidence that you have somehow slipped past the edge of anyone's awareness. And it is wrong, not slightly wrong, completely wrong. Wrong about what the silence means, wrong about what the darkness contains, wrong about what is happening in this room right now. The prophet Isaiah heard God speak to a people who felt exactly what you feel tonight. They had lost everything recognizable. And into that hollowness, God said, not I will find you, not call out and I will come, but when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Isaiah 43:2. When, not if, already assumed, already accounted for. God speaking as though his presence in the hard place was never in question, only whether they would recognize it. That is the irony. Loneliness cannot survive once you see it clearly. The very moment you feel most invisible is the moment you are most held, not held from a distance, not observed from somewhere far off with mild concern. The psalm says it like this in the 73rd Psalm. You hold me by my right hand. Not you watch over me, not you know where I am, you hold me. Present tense, physical language, the intimacy of a hand that has not let go, not even in this room, not even tonight, not even now. And Psalm 34:18 says something that should stop you for a moment. Not that God is near the ones who are strong enough to seek him, not near the ones with enough faith to ask, near the brokenhearted. Which means the very condition loneliness is exploiting tonight, the ache, the emptiness, the sense of being unaccompanied, is the exact condition that Scripture names as the address where God draws closest. Loneliness told you the ache was evidence of absence. The word says the ache is the location of nearness. You do not have to manufacture the feeling of his presence to make this true. You do not have to pray the right words or reach some emotional threshold or wait until morning when things feel clearer. He is already here. He was here before you noticed. He is here in a way that is not contingent on your awareness of him, the way the air in this room holds you without asking whether you believe in it. So let's breathe that in. Slowly, together. Place one hand gently on your chest, right over the place where you feel the weight of tonight. Not to fix it, just to acknowledge it. God designed the body to release something when it is touched. A quieting of fear, a loosening of the grip that anxiety keeps on the muscles of your chest. He designed that. And the same God who wired your body for comfort is the one whose presence fills this room right now. Breathe in, slowly. 2, 3, 4. And breathe out, gently. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you inhale, just let the word come quietly in your mind. Abba, Father, the name Jesus used in the dark garden when he was most alone. And as you exhale, I trust. Again, breathe in, Abba. Breathe out, I trust. One more time. Breathe in, Abba. Breathe out, I trust. You're not performing a ritual.
You're practicing recognition, learning to notice what is already true. That the breath you just drew came from the same hand that has not let go of you tonight. That the exhale was received by a God who is not waiting for you to arrive, because you are already with Him. Loneliness told you the silence meant absence, but the silence is full of a presence that has never needed to be called because it never left, and you have always been the one it stayed for. If something in these words has met you tonight the way you needed to be met, you are probably not the only one awake at this hour who needed to hear it. Share this with someone who might be lying in their own quiet room right now, wondering the same things you were wondering. Sometimes the most faithful thing we do for another person is simply say, "You are not as invisible as you feel." If what you've heard tonight has reached something in you, something quiet and real, there may be someone else awake right now, in another room, in another city, holding the same silence you were holding when you found this. You don't have to say much. You don't have to explain the theology or describe what happened in your chest when you heard it. You could simply send it, a message, a link, the quiet gesture of saying, "I thought of you," because that is what a God who sees before we speak has always modeled. Noticing someone before they found the words and moving toward them anyway. If this helped you feel less alone tonight, it will help them too. And so someone else receives it. Someone else in a room just like yours finds that they are not alone in the alone. And here you are, still awake, still here, which means there is still something left for this moment to give you. Because there is one thing we have not yet done, one thing we have named and circled and approached, but not yet fully entered. And it is this: He holds your right hand. Not held, not will hold, holds. Present, continuous. Now, Psalm 73, verse 23. Nevertheless, I am continually with you. You hold me by my right hand. The word nevertheless is doing something very specific in that sentence. It is not a word of triumph. It is not a word you say when everything is resolved.
You say nevertheless when things have not resolved, when the ache is still there, when the room is still quiet, when the question is still open. And despite all of that, I am continually with you. The psalmist was not writing from the other side of his loneliness. He was writing from inside it. And from inside it, he found something that changed nothing about his circumstances and everything about what those circumstances meant. The hand was already there. It had been there the whole time. He had simply not known where to look. Here is the specific fear that sits in a night like this one. Not the fear of danger, not the fear of tomorrow, but the quiet, particular fear that your hands are empty and that they will still be empty when the sun comes up, that no one has reached for them, that you have extended something, your presence, your availability, your love, and it has not been met. And the question that lives underneath that fear is not where did everyone go? It is softer and more painful than that. It is, am I the kind of person whose hand gets held? Leave that question open for a moment, because the answer does not come the way you expect it to. It does not come as an argument. It does not come as a feeling. It comes as an instruction, and then as a gesture, and then, if you let it, as a knowing that settles somewhere below the words. This is how he answers questions that are too tender to be argued with. He answers them with presence. He answers them with contact. So here is what I want to invite you to do. If you are lying down, let your arms rest gently at your sides. If you are sitting up, let your hands find your lap. And now, slowly, turn your palms upward, not reaching, not grasping, just open, the way you would open your hands if someone you trusted had asked to take them. This is the oldest posture of prayer, not because open hands are a technique, but because open hands are the truth of where you already are. You are not in control of this night. You are not in control of what you carry. You did not choose this ache, and you cannot think your way out of it. Open hands do not pretend otherwise. Open hands simply say, I have nothing to offer except what is already here, and I am offering it. And Psalm 73 says that when hands are open, when nevertheless is the only word left, there is already a hand there to meet them. Would you pray this with me? You who hold the stars, hold me now. You who see in the dark, see me here. I cannot make myself less alone tonight, but I can open my hands to the one who is already holding them. Leave them open a little longer, not because something dramatic will happen, but because this is what it means to receive instead of perform. This is what it means to stop being the one who holds everything together and become for a moment the one who is held. He holds your right hand, not because you have earned the grip, not because your faith is steady enough to deserve it, but because this is who He is, the one who reaches first, who stays longest, who does not loosen what He holds when the night gets heavy. The hand that holds you now is the same hand that has held you through every night you thought you would not survive, and you have survived them all. Nevertheless.
That word, always, is still in the air. He said it once, and it has not stopped being true, not until the feeling passes, not until morning comes and the house sounds different, always. Which is a word that has no edge to it, no expiration, no clause that reads, except for this particular night when the quiet is too heavy and the room feels too wide. There is no such clause. There has never been such a clause. And here is the fear that sits just beneath the surface of a night like this. Not the big named fear, but the quiet one. The one you almost don't say out loud even to yourself. The fear that always has a limit. That presence, even divine presence, is conditional on something you might have failed to do. A prayer said well enough, a faith strong enough, a heart clean enough. And that somewhere between who you are and who you were supposed to be, you slipped outside the reach of always. Can I sit with that fear for a moment with you? Not to answer it quickly, just to look at it. Because Matthew 28:20 does not say, I will be with you if. It does not say, I was with you when. It says, I am with you, present tense, active tense, the tense of something happening right now, all days to the very end of the age. The Greek word there is pasestas hemeras, all the days, not the good days, not the productive days, not the days when you remember to reach for Him first, all of them, including the ones that end in an empty room, including this one. There is something almost unbearable in its simplicity, not a formula, not a condition, just I am with you, as if the sentence could not afford to be longer without losing something essential, as if He knew that a heart carrying loneliness at 2 a.m. does not need a theological argument. It needs a voice that stays. And He stays. Not because you have earned it, not because the room is quiet enough, or because your breathing is slow enough, or because you found the right words before sleep. He stays because always is what He is, not just what He does. Think about what that means for this room. Not a room He is traveling toward, not a room He will reach if you call loudly enough. This room, the one you are lying in right now, with whatever is unresolved still sitting on your chest, with whatever name you have been turning over in the dark, with whatever silence has been the loudest thing all evening. This is the room where always is happening. Always is not somewhere else waiting for you to arrive at it. Always is here, present tense, unhurried, not going anywhere. And here is the irony of loneliness. The very feeling that tells you no one is near is happening inside a presence that has never moved. The ache is real. Do not let anyone take that from you. The ache is real, and it deserves to be felt and held. But the ache is not a measurement of distance. It has never been a measurement of distance. You can feel completely alone and be completely held at the exact same moment, because His presence does not wait for your feelings to confirm it before it shows up. He showed up before the night began. He will be here when the night ends, and He is here in every quiet second between. So let your breath slow now. Let the word always settle somewhere deeper than your thoughts, not as an idea to hold on to, as a ground to rest on. You do not have to grip always. Always is gripping you. And if that is hard to feel tonight, if the feeling is still more empty than full, more hollow than held, that is all right. Because He does not need you to feel it in order for it to be true. The night around you right now is dark to your eyes. but it is not dark to his. There's something about darkness that makes you feel like you have disappeared. Not slowly, but all at once. The moment the lights go off, the room that felt ordinary an hour ago becomes something else entirely. It becomes the proof of everything you were already afraid of. That you are small, that you are far from the center of anything, that the world is carrying on somewhere else, warm and lit and full of voices. And you are here, in the quiet, in the dark, wondering if the dark has swallowed you whole. That is the fear, not an abstract fear, this fear, the one sitting in the chest right now, in this room, in this particular dark, and the question underneath it, the one that does not always find words but hums beneath everything else, is this: if no one can see me in this darkness, am I still real to anyone? Hold that question for a moment. Don't answer it yet. Just let it sit there honestly, because it deserves honesty, not a quick reassurance. The window the last few minutes promised to open, it opens here, and it opens with a line from Psalm 139 that does not comfort you the way you might expect comfort to work. It does not say, the darkness will lift. It does not say, morning is coming. It says something stranger and more radical than either of those things. It says, the darkness is not dark to him. The night shines like the day. Darkness and light are both alike to God. Sit with the strangeness of that. What you are inside right now, this dim, quiet, heavy space, is not a problem for his vision. He does not experience your room the way you are experiencing it. You are surrounded by shadows. He is surrounded by nothing of the kind. To his side, this room is entirely, perfectly, gently lit. And you are in the middle of it, visible, clear, unhidden. The darkness is only dark to you. And here is the irony, the quiet irony that is worth receiving slowly tonight. The very condition that makes you feel most invisible is the condition that changes nothing about how clearly he sees. You chose the dark to hide in, or the dark found you, or the dark simply fell the way it falls every night. And it did not slow his gaze by a single degree. You are as seen right now as you would be standing in full sun in the middle of an open field. Exactly as seen, not approximately, not spiritually speaking in some general sense. Exactly, because darkness and light are both alike to him. Let that settle into the room around you, not into your theology, into the room, into the specific air you are breathing right now, into the quiet that feels like emptiness but is not empty, into the dark that feels like concealment but conceals you from no one who matters. You are not disappeared. You are not swallowed.
You are not harder to find because the lights are off. You are simply here, and here is where He already is, and His eyes do not need to adjust. Breathe that in slowly. Let the darkness around you change its meaning, not by leaving, but by being named for what it actually is. Not the place where you vanish, not the proof that you are forgotten, but the room where the God who needs no light is watching over you with absolute unhurried clarity. The night outside your window is not a barrier to Him. The silence in this house is not static that drowns out your presence. The weight on your chest is not camouflaged. He sees through all of it, not because He is searching, not because you finally caught His attention, but because seeing you in the dark is simply what He does. It is who He is. And if that is true, if darkness and light truly are alike to Him, then the dark is not what you thought it was when you first lay down tonight.
So let that land for just a moment. The dark is not what you thought it was. And if that is true, if the room you are lying in right now is not a place of absence, but a place where someone already sees with complete clarity, then something shifts. Not the room. The room stays the same. The quiet is still quiet. The pillow is still cool on one side and warm on the other. The space beside you, if it is empty, is still empty. But what you believe about what that emptiness means, that is what begins to move. Because here is a specific fear that lives inside loneliness at this hour. Not just that you are alone, but that the aloneness is proof of something. Proof that you are forgettable. Proof that if you did not reach out, no one would reach in. Proof that the silence around you reflects something true about how much you matter. That is the lie that 2 a.m. tells with such confidence. And it tells it quietly, which is the worst kind of telling. So here is the question I want to leave open in the room with you. Not to answer it quickly, but to let it breathe. What if the silence is not agreement? What if the empty room is not evidence, but simply a room? What if the darkness you have been reading as absence is actually the specific place where God's sight is most undistracted? Think about what Psalm 139 is actually saying. Not just that God is everywhere, that is true, but it stays abstract if we leave it there. What the psalm says in its exact words is this: the darkness is not dark to you. The darkness is not dark, full stop. The darkness is not dark to you. Which means the psalmist is not pretending the room is bright. He is not telling you the hard thing is easy. He is saying something far more precise, that the condition which limits your sight does not limit his. Your eyes are just slowly in a dark room. You reach for the wall. You move carefully because you cannot see edges. He does not adjust. He does not reach. He does not slow down to find you. The night, the psalmist says, shines like the day to him. Darkness and light are both alike, which means the hour that feels most like hiding is not hiding. The room that feels most like disappearing is not disappearing. The silence that sounds most like being forgotten is not silence to him at all. It is a room he can read like an open page in full light. And here is the irony that is worth sitting with slowly. The very thing that makes you feel invisible, the darkness, the quiet, the absence of anyone who could see you, changes absolutely nothing about how clearly he sees. You turned the lights off and felt more alone. He did not need to turn anything on. You closed your eyes because the room felt too empty to look at. He was already looking, not past you, not through you, at you, with the kind of attention that does not drift, with the kind of seeing that is not effort but nature. The psalmist wrote this from inside distress. He was not writing from a comfortable place where everything had resolved. He was writing the way a person writes when they are trying to remind themselves of something they cannot yet feel, but know to be true. And what he kept coming back to was not a feeling of closeness. It was a fact of it. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? And the answer in every direction he turns is nowhere. Not because God is inescapable in a frightening way, but because his presence is as complete and as surrounding as the air you are breathing right now. You did not summon the air. You did not earn the next breath. It is simply
There, unasked, unconditional, sustaining you even while you sleep. His presence works the same way tonight. So rest inside that for a moment before we move. Not the idea of it, the reality of it. That in this room, with this quiet, with whatever weight has followed you to bed tonight, you are not unseen. You are not unaccompanied. You are not that person who slipped through the cracks of a universe that stopped paying attention. You are the person lying in a room that looks dark to human eyes and is entirely, perfectly, unhurriedly visible to the one who made the dark and is not limited by it. The night is not hiding you. The night is simply where he finds you, already there, already near, already holding what you have not yet found words to give. And that means the only thing left to do tonight, the one honest, unforced thing, is to let yourself be found. Not to perform being found. Not to manufacture a feeling of closeness you do not yet have. Just to stop running, even the running you do quietly inside your own chest, and let the presence that never left simply be what it already is. Which is why, in just a few moments, we are going to pray. Not a perfect prayer, not a prayer that ties everything up, but an honest one, the kind you can pray from exactly where you are, with exactly what you feel, to a God whose sight does not require you to be better than you are right now, to be fully, clearly, tenderly seen. So let's begin there. Not with the prayer you think you're supposed to pray. Not the one with the right words, the right posture, the right amount of faith. Let's begin with what is simply true. You are here. It is late, and somewhere underneath the tiredness, there is something you have been carrying, something that did not go away when the lights went out, something that the quiet made louder. That is where we begin. If your hands are open, palms resting upward, not gripping, not guarding, let them stay that way. That open posture is already a prayer. It is the body saying what the mouth sometimes cannot. I'm not holding this together. I'm not performing strength. I am simply here. And here is where he already is. Let's breathe once before we speak. Breathe in slowly. And breathe out. And now, quietly, in whatever voice feels most like yours tonight, whether it is a whisper or just a thought, say with me, Abba, I trust. Not because everything is resolved, not because the room feels less empty, but because you have held what you said you would hold, and that is enough to lean on tonight. Abba, I don't have a speech prepared. I don't have the energy to explain everything I feel or why it hurts or how long it has been hurting. You already know. You knew before I found these words. You knew before I pressed play. You knew when I lay down and stared at the ceiling and felt the particular weight of a room that holds only me. You knew. And you came anyway. Or rather, you were already here. And I am only now noticing. Thank you for not requiring me to be better before you drew close. Thank you for making nearness a gift and not a reward. Abba, I surrender tonight. Not the big dramatic surrender. I don't have the energy for that. Just this. The next few hours, whatever is still unresolved, whatever I could not fix today, whatever I will be tempted to pick back up the moment my eyes open, I am setting it down now into these open hands and pass them into yours. Abba, I trust. If there is someone you thought about tonight, someone whose absence made the room feel smaller, I bring them to you now, not asking you to fix what I cannot name, just placing them here, beside me, in this space, where you already are. You see them too. Wherever they are tonight, you are there as well. And that is more than I can arrange on my own. If there is something I am afraid of, something that hides in the quiet and grows louder after midnight, I confess that I cannot outthink it, and I cannot outrun it, and I am tired of trying. So I am handing it to you, not because I feel brave, because I am not, and you know that, and you stay anyway. Abba, I trust. And now as this night deepens, I am asking you for rest. Not just sleep, though I need that too, but the kind of rest that comes from knowing I am not in charge of tomorrow, the kind that David wrote about when he said, "You make him lie down in green pastures, you lead him beside still waters, you restore his soul." Not his performance, not his productivity, his soul. Do that tonight, in this room, in this quiet, in this ache. Restore what has been worn down. Speak to what is frightened, sit with what is grieving, and let what needs to heal begin to. Even while I sleep, especially while I sleep. Abba, I trust. Guide me now through what I cannot navigate on my own. You know the valley I am walking through, the shadow that makes it feel long. but you have walked it with others before me, and you have never lost one in the dark. I am trusting that I am not the first exception. So I will lie down. I will close my eyes. I will let the breath come and go without me earning it, as it has all night, as it has all my life. And I will trust that what I cannot hold while I sleep is being held by the one who does not. Abba, I trust. You are here. The room is not empty, and it never was. Rest now. You are held.
You are held. And if someone else is awake tonight carrying what you carried into this room, share this with them, not because you have answers, but because the God who saw you before you spoke sees them too. You are not alone tonight, and neither are they.
Whoever rests here tonight and whoever they love is already held by the same hands that hold the stars. Sleep gently. You are not the only one awake in the dark tonight, and none of you are alone. The one who saw you before you had words sees you still, breathing, resting held. This room is not empty. It never was. He was here before you lay down. You do not have to earn His nearness tonight. You could not lose it if you tried. He is close to the brokenhearted, which means He is very close to you right now. Your breath rises and falls, and He who counts the hairs on your head counts every one. The silence you feel is not absence. It is the quietness of someone who does not need to speak to stay. Even now, while you sleep, his right hand holds yours and has not let go once. You are known tonight, fully, gently, without condition, by the one who made you to be known. When you wake, He will still be here. He does not leave while you rest. Sleep now. You are seen, you are held, you are not alone. And morning will confirm what is already true. you are held. And if someone else is awake tonight carrying what you carried into this room, share this with them, not because you have answers, but because the God who saw you before you spoke sees them too. You are not alone tonight, and neither are they. Whoever rests here tonight, and whoever they love, is already held by the same hands that hold the stars. Sleep gently. You are not the only one awake in the dark tonight, and none of you are alone. The one who saw you before you had words sees you still, breathing, resting here. This room is not empty. It never was. He was here before you lay down. You do not have to earn his nearness tonight. You could not lose it if you tried. He is close to the brokenhearted, which means he is very close to you right now. Your breath rises and falls, and he who counts the hairs on your head counts everyone. The silence you feel is not absence. It is the quietness of someone who does not need to speak to stay. Even now, while you sleep, his right hand holds yours and has not let go once. You are known tonight, fully, gently, without condition, by the one who made you to be known. When you wake, He will still be here. He does not leave while you rest. Sleep now. You are seen, you are held, you are not alone. And morning will confirm what is already true. you are held. And if someone else is awake tonight carrying what you carried into this room, share this with them, not because you have answers, but because the God who saw you before you spoke sees them too. You are not alone tonight, and neither are they.
Whoever rests here tonight and whoever they love is already held by the same hands that hold the stars. Sleep gently. You are not the only one awake in the dark tonight, and none of you are alone.
The one who saw you before you had words sees you still, breathing, resting held. This room is not empty, it never was. He was here before you lay down. You do not have to earn His nearness tonight. You could not lose it if you tried. He is close to the brokenhearted, which means He is very close to you right now. Your breath rises and falls, and He who counts the hairs on your head counts every one. The silence you feel is not absence. It is the quietness of someone who does not need to speak to stay. Even now, while you sleep, his right hand holds yours and has not let go once. You are known tonight fully, gently, without condition, by the one who made you to be known. When you wake, He will still be here. He does not leave while you rest. Sleep now. You are seen, you are held, you are not alone. And morning will confirm what is already true. Sleep now. You are seen, you are held, You are not alone, and morning will confirm what is already true.
You are held. And if someone else is awake tonight carrying what you carried into this room, share this with them, not because you have answers, but because the God who saw you before you spoke sees them too. You are not alone tonight, and neither are they.
Whoever rests here tonight, and whoever they love, is already held by the same hands that hold the stars. Sleep gently,